All right, welcome into the half, everybody. I'm like, wait, is this half? Is this the? I don't know why I all of a sudden had this like freak out moment, but welcome into the half, everybody. My name is Erich Montgomery, and my job is not to remember the names of the shows, but instead to inspire you to fall in love with your business.
My name is Erich Campbell, and though I remember the name of the show, I understand why Aaron doesn't, because honestly, you are now on more shows than you probably need to be in any given
Yes.
week.
Well, I did remove a show, so it's yeah, but yes,
We're trying to balance out. There may be more of that to come. We got to balance out a little bit, but we're
yeah,
happy to be here. And I guess what I'm here to do is just help you make more inspiring embroidery. I'm coming off of the secret sauce at the end of the 2RG right
amen,
there,
sir.
and I liked that one. That was a good secret sauce.
Yeah,
I know I like all of them, but this is one that I liked of my own, and that's usually not the case because I'm usually pretty
something you're
hard on my
proud
own
of, Eric?
content.
What? Come on.
I like that one. It spun up pretty good. It got good
It
by the
did.
end.
It did. It did. I thought that was a great secret sauce. So if you guys missed that, check it out. We will have it also available on the Two Raider Guys YouTube channel as its own standalone, a delicious morsel of sauce, pan, pot, whatever you make sauce in these days. So check that out.
Yeah.
But we also had a great show over there talking kind of state of the industry trends.
Oh yeah,
man, we went all over the place in some cool directions with both Cassie and Carlo. Eric, what were you sitting in the background going, oh yeah, that's great, or you know?
Well, I mean, it's really hard, and I don't want to discount the stuff Cassie was saying, because she said all this awesome stuff about strategies and what we can learn, and also what we can get out of going to things like Printing United Expo. But it was super hard not to hit on Carlo's quote, because he had like the killer, beat down absolute quote for the 2RG, completely quotable. What he was talking about, his favorite thing about going to trade shows, and I think I'd have to agree with this one to some degree, because it's like, it's not about the equipment necessarily that's there. It's not about the vendors that are there. It's not about the supplies. It was about talking to other decorators. And the great thing was, he had this quote. He says, I love to go there. I love to see what's going on, because there are so many ways to win. Wow. Like, home run quote, so many ways to win. And it's something I think we talk about a lot. In fact, we got to put it in different terms. To some degree, we talk about so many ways to win because we're talking about success conditions. And when I talk about success conditions, I'm saying, hey, there's more than one way to judge what you've done as successful. Because honestly, hey, Carlo's shop, massive. More automatics than I've seen on one floor, aside from somebody selling them, tremendous number of shifts of equipment running, and he's running 24/7. Incredible production going on there. So the studio, or no, I can't remember his Culture Studio, right? Culture Studio.
Yeah, Culture Studio. Yep.
Culturestudio.net. And he's got more than one location. Crazy stuff going on. But suffice it to say, culturestudio.net is where he's coming from, and they do music merch. But you don't have to have a triple shift 7 days a week business to be successful, obviously. So that's one of the ways we can say there's many ways to win. But the way he was talking about it, which I love, is that there are many niches. There are so many ways that we can be decorators and still be viable and have people to serve. Even when I was talking about the inspirational embroidery chunk at the end, I'm like, hey, go look at other types of embroidery. There's home decor and bridal and monogramming and personalization and upholstery, uniforming, which is more akin to what we do, fully custom embroidery, and retail. All of these methods exist and are out there and in the public space, and we can find something from them. And I think that's the thing. He was talking about that in a business sense, because there are so many markets that we fit into. And he's like, hey, look at all these ways that you can win. And I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah.
So it was really cool just to kind of hear, especially from someone who very obviously outwardly is doing the thing that everybody says is that measure of success. They're like, wow, you've got this really big shop. You're doing these huge orders. You're doing these crazy, these crazy customers who are, he's talking about an order for Kanye West. I mean, maybe back in the day before that meant something different, but hey, still, it was a hardcore order, and he's fulfilling these really big orders. But to hear from him that he still looks at that and says, hey, there are many ways to go about this thing and to make it successful. And that's pretty impressive. That's an impressive thing in and of itself. So I think it's hard not to put that in the recap. There's so many ways to win. And the funny thing is, he said that he goes back to his team, to his salespeople, to his board, and says, "Man, if we can't find one of the ways to win, we got to really mess up not to find one of these ways, because there's so many ways we can go about this thing."
Yeah.
I think that's hopeful and inspirational to everybody, and I think that was fantastic. Now, other things from the show that I think are very worthwhile to go check out that replay. Most certainly part of it, the news from Cassie. Now, Cassie's news is always fantastic. She had some good bits and bites on there today, and especially, I hate to say this, I was happy to see the warning about reproducing stuff you should be due to copyright. I am not one of these people who's going to jump on the copyright bandwagon. I'm not like harassing everybody who makes a fan piece for themselves. I'm not out there, yelling at people making cosplay stuff or costumes, and that's not what I'm about. I'm not that kind of person, and I can definitely agree that there's some broken stuff about the copyright system, and particularly the American copyright system is a little goofy sometimes.
Yeah.
However, it's the system under which we live, unless we want to get our lawmakers on it. You need
and they
to
can't seem to
realize
do
that,
anything right now. So
yeah, no, for
copyright's
real.
probably
We're
at the
gonna,
bottom of the list.
yeah, copyright might be underneath keeping the government open. Let's not go there. So much to say. Really, it is worthwhile to say, hey, both here and overseas, because the story she was sharing is from the UK. If you knock off garments and continue to do it, and honestly are successful enough doing so to get on anyone's radar, which is what you're kind of hoping for as a business, is to get successful, you're likely to end up with some sort of negative repercussion. This guy had a suspended sentence that was supposed to be jail time over knockoff tees. Now, he was doing it over the course of 4 years, but it's just worth saying, hey, it's a good idea to get inspired but not knock stuff off, and to realize that there's some stuff we should look into. So go check out the Gordon Firemark episodes that we did for two other guys about copyright. Go check out the apparelist.com, where they have several 4 articles from Gordon over there too about copyright. And he's an actual copyright lawyer. So these are, I'm not going to say they're legal advice, because we want to keep those things distinct online. However, there are some informational guidelines that might keep you from running afoul of the powers that be when it comes to what we make. And as you say, Aaron, I can't go anywhere if I see a craft or a table show or anything where people are making decorated stuff, especially since the rise of sublimation and any sort of digital decorating, which makes grab, the tool chain being, hey, grab online image, print online image. I can't go to any of those without seeing radical, just massive inflated numbers of things that should not be produced in any professional shop, that are likely to get you shut down, fined, and what have you. So, like I said, create at your own peril. If you're going to do, hey, NFL, Harley, Disney, you're taking your little shop's life into your hands every time you do it.
Yeah.
So remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the interesting part, one of the things that, we've learned from Gordon and whatnot, when thinking about that kind of side of things, right? Like, I went to a local craft fair in this super, I mean, maybe I'm turning to Terry and I've told this story before, but I don't think super small town in northwestern Indiana. Yeah. And there was maybe 10 vendors at this little craft fair. Mm-hmm. Of the 10 vendors, 5 of them were selling tumblers. Yeah. And of the 5 of them that were selling tumblers, 4 of them had nothing but replica beer, Monster Energy, Marvel. Yeah, I mean, all of the big Disney. The copyright, one table, I just kind of quickly counted it based on the rows of stuff that they had there. Yeah. And the reality is, each one of those infringements is going to be, first and foremost, is going to cost you the penalty, which is $700.
Sure.
And then that was a quick $30,000 penalty that I just counted quickly.
Sure.
On top of any damages that the companies that you're ripping off from want to get out of your business. Yeah. And here's the challenge, here's the part that stood out to me, is if this person is sitting here doing this, and that's their understanding of their business, my guess is they don't have a protection, right? They're just doing it as a sole proprietor kind of scenario.
Yeah, very likely.
If you can't pay those fines, then somebody's going to want your house. Somebody's going to want garnish your wages. Yeah. Right. And so that's a huge risk for, what could, maybe they made $150, $200 over the course of that, 5 hours sitting there under a tent.
Yeah.
So just start doing the math real quick, and then it kind of makes just go brain blown.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, for real, for real. Like I said, I'm not going to harp on it too much. It's just one of those things I like to keep in everybody's mind. Like, hey, security through obscurity sounds great. I don't do enough for them to bother with me. Sure, possibly, but we also know that there are people who are out there who they have taken it upon themselves to report these infractions too.
Exactly. So here's the deal:
you never
like
know.
Those companies, though, that we mentioned, right, that are like that they like Eric said, the law is a little bit odd. But the reality for them is it's not that they're the big, bad, mean guys that are trying to like shut down small businesses.
No.
The law states that if they do not go after and defend their copyright, then they lose their copyright, right? And so they're doing it based on the law. And so therefore they have teams of attorneys that their job is to find these things. And guess what? We've heard of this thing called AI. Who do you think is going to start using that to go scouring? Because, I'm a little person sitting there at a vendor event and I'm, whatever. And I just happen to snap a photo of me sitting there and put it on Facebook as hey, come see me at such and such. And then all of a sudden AI goes bing up. There's a Mickey Mouse deal. And then the lawyers go, we need to check that out. And if we don't defend that, now we're losing our copyright. So sorry. I don't mean to go, I get on that soapbox, but
yeah, it's like I said, don't want to go soapboxing on it. The only reason I say it is that there's still a lot of folks out there who have very weird ideas about copyright, the whole percentages, the whole, that's the thing. It's what percentage of change can we do? We had 9 changes and it's safe. No, it's not. And I'll tell you, I'll actually give everybody my little kind of point on it, how I kind of feel that out. This is where I take temperature. Once again, not legal advice, will not hold up in court. But how I kind of take that temperature and say, am I doing something that might run afoul? I say, all right, would somebody want the thing I'm producing if whatever thing, whatever other cultural touchstone didn't exist? Would this thing still be attractive to them? Would they want it? Or are they wanting this thing due to the popularity that somebody else built?
Yeah.
So somebody will often say, oh, well, if I only use the colors, if I only use the name, if the thing is not valuable without that other property that you're referring to, there's a high likelihood that you're probably infringing. And if not, the other thing is people say, well, what about parody? Parody is a tough nut to crack. Parody has to be, you kind of have to prove parody.
That's where you bring in the Gordon Firemarks of the world and say, because he's talked about that on the Two Regular Guys version.
The one that always gets me, there was a guy who had a dog toy company that made a fake Jack Daniels-esque bottle dog toy, and Jack came after him and got him. No, that's not. You're like, wow, that's not even the same product category, and the label was different, and it's a parody because it had dog words on it instead of Jack Daniels. Not far enough. So if that's not far enough, then a T-shirt with a slight change to the logo probably not far enough. Most of the time. But like I said, it's something to watch out for. I don't want to hang on that. In fact, we have better inspirational thing with like
you just got me going. Sorry.
It's hard not to, especially like I said, with the rise of DTF, and you're in the sublimation world, which is rife with it, unfortunately. And also because I do a lot of online sales and e-commerce. Online sales and e-commerce is foul with it, and also in the software world, I'll tell you, we at Imbrilliance, I've seen people take assets that we make, rebrand them, output them to, stuff that we make that are tools, they will output them to Stitch files and sell them in big packages. It's very hard to stomp on all of that and keep it up, but it's a constant fight. And I kind of agree with Cindy. As much as we go, man, these people just sticks in the mud. Why do they care? She says you'd feel the same about your designs or your inventions. The way I've seen people, but what's always the fun thing is watch somebody out of one side of their mouth say that defending copyright is not worthwhile, and why do you talk about that? And on the other side, go, I can't believe somebody stole from me. It's tough. It's a tough thing to be in the middle of. I tend to be the free idea kind of a person, but there's limits involved. Also, like I said, you're in the whatever state you're in, you got to know the laws, whatever state, whatever country that you're in, and understand that you're living under them, whether or not you agree with them. You can be a conscientious objector to copyright and still get fined. So, it's just what it is. It's something to think about.
Yeah.
But I'd rather go back to the inspirational stuff for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But let me just share this real quick. I mentioned that 4 of the 5 people selling tumblers were infringing. The 5th was Honeybee Creations. And
Who was
yes,
doing it right.
Sandy was who I got to go visit up there. It was super cool. And
Nice.
again, this is just a neat little event, you know. But
Totally.
at the same time, I'm sitting there going, "Oh man, I just want to go give that lady a hug and say, please don't let anything happen. You're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna be okay, I hope. But boy, it's gonna hurt for a
Oh, yeah.
second." So
Oh, for sure. And I think a lot of people know the reality is, do we do things that cross the border sometimes? I think a lot of us do things that are
sure,
close to the edge of it. Or like I've made patches for cosplayers before. Are those technically infringing? They probably are technically infringing. If I make a single patch for a single cosplayer, the damages are very limited, but you can still get hit.
yeah,
A lot of it happens like fan art, cosplay. That's the thing people say, oh, they allow for fan art at their pleasure. That's the thing to remember too. If Marvel allows for fan art, it's at their pleasure, at their discretion. At any time, if they decide to ding you over that, they can. They just know it's not great for fans, so they tend to allow some of that stuff to go on.
yeah,
But
and
it's at their discretion. At any time, they
yeah,
can decide they don't
yeah.
like that anymore.
But they have to still operate within the
Yeah.
confines of the law
Yeah,
too. So,
they do.
all right. Well,
Anyway, all right,
let's say hi to
move
some
on.
folks. We'll get back into if you want to cover some more on the Two Rare Guys. But I
Oh, sure.
don't want to get too far away before we say good morning to everybody. Good
Yes.
afternoon, wherever we're at. Chuck, good afternoon. Gail tuning in. Ramona tuning in. Cindy, we've already talked to Cindy. All right,
Yep.
let's see here. Ron, I'm not sure
Yeah.
I've met Ron before. So Ron, thank you for being here.
Yeah, Ron's on a lot of my shows, so thank you, Ron, for showing up.
Well, high five,
Good to see
Ron.
you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
And because he also had looks like beer mugs, coffee and beer mugs there. So whichever
Yeah, looks
side
like we
of
got,
noon you're at, right?
yeah, looks like we got maybe an old fashioned there. I think we're already.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Irishing up the coffee this morning.
Oh man, I gotta get. Apparently, I need new glasses now. All right, Barb. Happy Friday, Barb. Thank you so much for being here. Carol, thank you. Appreciate you saying that. Jeremy, we're only half sharing good information, so
he says he's only half listening, but you should only be listening to the half. So there's my radio.
I love it. It's 4 o'clock
right,
somewhere. Tracy, good afternoon. Thanks for being here. And Ron says it's 4 o'clock somewhere. All right.
Are we backing up to 4 even out of the song? All right.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock. Happy hour, baby. That's when happy hour starts now. All right.
It's fun. I'm not gonna tell.
Eric, let's transition here. I want to see if we can have some room.
Yeah,
Unless there's anything, I don't mean to cut you off. I know I got on my soapbox, and the whole point of that was for you to recap what stood out to you, not for me to talk soapbox. But
hey,
yeah, we need that information out there. We do. You set it up, so good job.
The reminder is useful for all of us because the temptation is always there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, why not?
100%. All right. Well, can we move on to weekly wins here, sir?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay.
All right.
Anything stand out? I don't keep score very well, so one of us can start. Maybe you guys in the comments can start. I know it's going to take you a second for
if you would, guys.
Yeah. What's a weekly win? Maybe Eric, before we get started, I always try to explain the point. Maybe you want to tackle that real quick. Why do we insist that we do weekly wins each week?
A few different reasons, and I'll explain them in my fashion because I think you've got different reasons why you do it. But I'll just say, in my case, I'm really terrible about noticing these things, particularly when they're process wins, right? And what I mean by process wins is that we are not at the end of the process, or we're not at the result, even if we are at the end. The things that we have to do along the long-term goal axis, like while we are checking in repeatedly, having to do little bits and bytes to get to something big, or when we haven't had the response outside of ourselves, outside of our shops yet, we can not look at things as successful because we haven't gotten a response yet. And frankly, the weekly wins, I like to highlight those smaller and process wins, because that is something that's going to keep us going, that's going to let us feel like, yes, this is something that's worthwhile to do. Also, frankly, in general, we just aren't celebrated as much as we used to be. Like the last time a lot of people ever got celebrated was like their high school graduation, their college graduation, and then you don't get another celebration for things that you do. So I would like us at half and other things that we do to stop and celebrate people and let them understand we are in this together, and that what you're doing is worthwhile. And sometimes you just need a little applause. Like you need a pat on the back from somebody, and hey, I'm happy to be here to do that.
Yeah. Exactly. And like you said, just that celebration, like when we get it, just to have somebody go, gosh, good job. Right. Yeah. I mean, it is as I don't know, silly, whatever the word is that you want to use there, whatever that might be. the reality is when you come back to it is we need that, right? It's just that
You do.
we're humans and we got to have that. So we want to hear it. And we've
Got a
got
couple
some
already.
listener wins to
Good
start
ones.
us off. So
Let's do that.
Yeah, definitely. So Barb says, my win for the week is spending half to 1 hour on business items only, not orders every day this work week. It was hard the first couple of days. I'm getting things done I've been putting off. So
nice.
yes,
That's it. Working
on
the
your
business,
business.
not just in it.
Yep,
Yeah, go do it.
Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Fantastic.
Ron says, my win is I'm still plugging away. So Ron,
absolutely.
Yep. That's an excellent win.
Absolutely worthwhile, man.
Pick out something that actually, plugging away. What does that mean? Let's get into the details of it too, though. Like I said, great win. I'm not belittling that at all. I want you to get more specific because trust me, it does help. I know it seems silly and you're going, Aaron, really? But try it. Just try it. Act as if. What if it actually worked? Okay.
Nice.
Carol, I got my first 10 needle machine. The difference in quality of the stitching is making me almost giddy.
Fantastic. No, upgrades, man. If you're somebody who's in that space where you're going from craft to prosumer level equipment, man, that's a big jump. I mean, consumer machine to consumer machine, or a professional machine, commercial machine to commercial machine, the jumps aren't always that huge, but man, that 1 needle to 10 needle jump is huge. So that's awesome. So good on you, and you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, look at that, man. Oh, we got the wins pouring in here too. I
love it. Let's just keep going.
Yeah,
let's roll on those wins.
Marianne says, win this week, donating embroidery to church for cooks and helpers for Shiprock Trick for volunteering. Sorry, I didn't say that very well, but
it's all right. It's Shiprock, New Mexico. You don't know. it's a place out here. I know.
I'm not Shiprock. So.
We have a lot of large standing stones that look like stuff that are left over, like generally from volcanic stuff. Yeah, apparently ships in this case. Yeah, Shiprock looks like a big ship. Cool. Camel Rock looks like a camel.
Yeah, the landscape out there, Eric. You're a lucky guy, man. It's beautiful out there for sure.
It's so hard. You live in New Mexico and everybody's like, oh, don't you ever want to leave? And you leave a little bit when you're young. You're like, man, I'm tired of this dusty postage stamp of a town. And then you get outside, then you're like, man, I can't live anywhere else. It's hard not to. New Mexico is a wonderful place.
Nice. All right. Doug says, I got my first customer project done. It was on leather. Wow. Way to tackle that. That's awesome. Not easy, right, Eric?
No, it's one of the scarier embroideries to do. I know. One of the ones I remember very distinctly, some fairly high up folks at a casino had these like $500 leather jackets and wanted tonal embroidery on the left chest direct through the whole thing. Boy, if you ever wondered, that's where you go and buy some similar leather and sample first. I absolutely sampled first on that one. I was like, yeah, we could do it. It's going to be a couple extra days. I was not going to run that direct without checking. And that's from somebody who knew a little bit about embroidery at the time I was doing it.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. So that's, awesome. That's impressive, man.
Very good, Doug. Congrats on that. Ramona says, win, created a fun project for tomorrow's CNC, coffee and conversation. It will be so much fun. Ramona, remind us what time that is so we can tune in. I know I ask this all the time, but keep reminding, persistence pays off. So coffee and conversation, you got to check that out, you guys, if you haven't done that. Ramona puts on a really good program over there.
Absolutely.
All right. So good job, Ramona. Jeremy says, I went live on Instagram yesterday. I was swapping out the zipper pulls on some jackets we bought for our own branded zipper pulls. Merch ASMR. Too bad I only had one viewer.
I saw you go live and missed it toward the end. I would have been your second viewer, my man. That's awesome.
Well, Jeremy had one live viewer. Yeah, right. So the
Instagram,
viewers
you can't see it live afterward on Instagram, or at least I couldn't see a replay. I would have watched.
I've been so bad about Instagram lately. Jeremy, if you get a second, put the link in the comments to your Instagram, and we'll get there. Same for you, Ramona.
Yeah, for real.
Ramona says 10 a.m. center of the universe time, center of the world time here in Central Time. Eric, that's
10 a.m. Central Time, coffee and conversation for sure.
All right. Cindy says, I sent an embroidery design, a jacket with her designs. She was thrilled, better than just being on display at the shop.
Nice.
Thrilled, so, nice.
Cooperation. Love it. So good job, Cindy.
Look at that. Doug's an old hand, so but still pretty darn good, Doug. So don't
leatherworker and quilter, use leather a lot, so it doesn't scare me. You know what? Knowing your materials is such a big deal. Understanding the material you're working on is such a big deal. A lot of embroiderers miss that, and I might be talking about that later on today. By the way, Take up today. I'm talking about 5 things that new embroiderers and digitizers need to do. we might venture into that. Understanding material is something that a lot of embroiderers and a lot of digitizers forget. It's important.
Yep. What's up, Nikki?
Hey,
Good to
Nikki.
see you. It's been a bit. Hopefully you're doing
Yeah.
well. What's a win for you, Nikki? We're sharing some wins right now, and
Yes.
everybody's coming in with some amazing stuff.
Yeah,
Eric,
great wins.
I
Thank
just
you
wanted
guys for
to
sharing this week.
slow
Awesome.
clap the whole
Glad
time.
to see it. Yeah, for real.
All right. Well, shoot. Should we jump in? Or you want me to go, or you want to go?
Yeah, you go. You go, man.
All right. I think I'm going to share my weekly win. I finally, day late, hopefully not $1 short, but just a day late, got my iLearning project turned in. So it'll be ready for Printing United on sublimation printing essentials, kind of the overview of sublimation for their iLearning platform. So I wrapped that up. I got a couple little kind of finishing touches that Ray came back to me with and said, hey, can you do this and this? And I said, yep, absolutely. So I'll get that done today, and project is there. So
that's awesome. Yeah, new stuff over at iLearning. You got to check that stuff out. So great stuff from Printing United.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right. So Nikki's win, and then we'll get you, Eric. Does that sound good?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Learning to digitize without my teacher's help. So good.
Nice.
Job. Love
Digitizing is real stuff, man. You gotta get it.
For sure.
Nice.
Get it. All right, Eric. It's your turn, sir.
All right. We could do a couple of them. First thing is kind of an abstract sounding win, because it's actually the same kind of win for two different arenas of my life. Managed to tell two folks who did meetings with this week, who are people who I respect, who are in my industry in a couple different ways, tips that they hadn't thought of for stuff that they wanted to do going forward. And when you have somebody who really knows what they're doing, stop and go, man, that's a great idea. I will say that is a win that I love. Somebody who knows what they're doing, who's very experienced, if you can jump in and say something that maybe they didn't think of before, or that really answered a question for them, that is a huge win, and I'll take that all day long. So a couple of different places. The other thing I'm going to refer to very kind of abstractly so as not to cause any trouble for myself down the road. Got very much closer to what the final form is on education for Long Beach. So if you guys are going out to Impressions Expo Long Beach, I keep on kind of hinting that there's something I might be involved with that's pretty cool for embroiderers. Well, got much closer to that. And so the other compatriots I'm working with and organization over there got to have a meeting yesterday regarding that. And that was one of the places where I kind of had an idea, and my contact was like, wow, that's the idea. That's how we get that to work. And so that's awesome to hear. And with that, it made the format of this education thing we're trying to do kind of gel. So I can't tell you guys till stuff is on the schedule. I always tell you guys, not until the ink is dry do I ever give you the full details. But I can tell you that it's highly likely you're going to see some of the faces that you love to see in the embroidery world at Impressions Expo. So like I said, check it out. We'll see what's going on. Follow my channels, and I will definitely share with you when I can on that front.
Should I be trying to like drag this out of you and say, it's just, we're just friends here?
No,
it's okay,
just cool. Let's put it this way. We've been doing stuff the same way, and I'm going to try and do some cool stuff too. So we'll see how it's going, right? Depends on, like I said, if things aren't firmed up yet, don't worry. Just because it's not on the website yet doesn't mean it's not there. Somebody asked me, are you going to have a class? I don't see it yet. Yeah, the highest likelihood, unless something crazy happens, is you're going to see me at Impressions Expo Long Beach. The thing is that it might be a different format than you're used to, and I might be doing some stuff that's different in my comfort zone too. It's kind of cool though. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'll let you know when I know. But it's one of those things where it's like it's good to start firming things up and say, wow, we had some ideas that are hitting for people and working out. And I'm also glad that I'm getting to bring people in to the industry and kind of set people up for their success too, as far as educating, because you guys know I'm a big proponent of getting out there, sharing what you know, and also bringing new people, new blood, new ideas into the industry. That's what I'm trying to do. So like I said, good stuff coming. And I'm glad to see more of that happening.
Nice.
But yeah.
All right. So we will be there in
All see you, Doug. I'll see you out there.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of time for challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. But,
all good.
Okay. Any other weekly wins? Yeah, we kind of that was awesome. To be honest with you, Eric,
yeah, let's go.
I'd be happy to do 30 minutes of weekly wins. To be perfectly, not that I love the recap.
We had the people,
and if we have questions, we're going to answer questions. But if we just said the half is now 30 minutes weekly wins, Let's do it.
Hey, the
I'd be down.
celebration needs to happen, right? That
Yep,
needs to
yep.
happen. Everybody celebrate yourselves and give yourself a little grace. You know, if that's your challenge this week, take that challenge on.
Yep,
Be
definitely.
be kinder to yourself. I know I'm going to work on it.
Yep. Like Cindy says, congratulations to all.
100%.
And then yeah, you have a great weekend too, Jeremy. But here's his Instagram accounts. I don't know which one it was on for what he was talking about there, but
worthwhile follows, folks.
Yep,
Good stuff coming out of Jeremy.
get over
always.
there, so check that out. All right. Well, Ramona, we'll get to it next week if we need to talk about it. All right, Eric. Have a great week, everybody. Good job on the weekly wins. Keep bringing it, guys.
Okay, see you guys next time.